Hey guys, it's been a while since I made a video, and I just wanted to update you guys on some things I've done lately, so I can show you the results of some of my projects. So I kind of cleaned up this closet a little bit. Still haven't wired my house, even though I've owned it for over a year now, but just other things have gotten in the way and other important things. So I'll eventually get to it. It's not a top priority right now because I don't care about the look of it too much. Just trying to get things done. So all right, well, let me show you the major changes. Number one is I used to have a different box as my pfSense server. This is my new one. It is running one of the new Atom motherboards, semi-new from last. I bought the motherboard a while ago. I just never used it because pfSense didn't support it immediately. It's one of the new Atom ones that have AES built in. So I'm running HAP proxy on there as my like my SSL termination. So my websites and stuff that have SSL, they get terminated by that. And that Atom chip actually has hardware AES NI support, so it's the AES instruction set is accelerated on that hardware chip, so it's less CPU. It's also the processor is a quad core, and it has 4 of the new Intel NICs in there. So this motherboard's basically perfect as like a small network, even like a medium-sized network firewall. So works pretty well. This is the obviously my interface. I mean, I'm not going to log in there, but yeah. And here's some other stuff. I got the web server, which creates a lot of noise because I have a lot of applications running on my web server now. You can see some OwnCloud stuff going on right there. There's my FreeNAS box. So I'll just show you the thing. So basically this, if you look in the back, there's actually 4 NICs there. What sucks about these is since it's one of the newer motherboards, it doesn't even have a PS2 slot. So for the keyboard, I had to use one of those. I had to buy a PS2 to USB adapters. It was like $5. So I had that plugged in. It does actually work though. So let me show it working. So even though that's going to USB, it works, and it works in the BIOS and everything too. So yeah. So yeah, I got that updated. This guy, I had a Rocket Raid 2720 8-port RAID card that gives a SATA 3 for 8 slots, but it has some issues with FreeBSD, and it causes some errors, and it will like drop disks out even though the disk isn't actually erroring. So I bought an LSI card. It's a very similar. It's also 8 ports, SATA 3, PCIe 8 times 8 slot at PCIe 2.0 speeds. So plenty of bandwidth, but that card that they shipped me, like the guy just threw it in a box, and one of the microchips, you can tell on the back of it, got shorn off because it was in a box with no padding whatsoever, so it was sliding around. So I'm trying to get it returned and trying to get him to pay back for the shipping to ship it back, or just have him leave it. If he ends up saying screw it, just here's all your money back, then I'll try soldering the thing. Or I don't know if I really want to use that in production though, so because I have somewhat semi-important stuff running on here now. So yeah, this is my FreeNAS box. It basically is like storage, media storage, and also storage for this. Like this runs a bunch of PHP applications, and this uses this for like its NFS storage. This is running FreeBSD 10. I have OwnCloud on there. I have Pydio, which is similar to OwnCloud, but more like less family oriented. I just have that for like people who want to host websites and they just want to have a way to quickly edit files. It's pretty good for like that kind of stuff. OwnCloud's great for everything else. I have so many things running on my OwnCloud now. I have my RSS feeds. I got I use that for my calendar instead of Google Calendar now. I use that for my file syncing. Use that when I need to share a file with somebody. I just drop it in there. Ton of different things I'm using OwnCloud for now, and it really has replaced a lot. So I got OwnCloud, I got Pydio, which doesn't see much use. I have my WordPress servers on there for people. And now I'm running a NewsNab server called nZEDb. I've talked about it before, but it's been in production for almost 2 months, and it's running perfectly. So I'll go show that on my computer too. And then I'll just show you, I kind of clean up the wiring. It's not great, obviously. It could be better. These ones are going to be gone once I have a hole down there, and there's going to be a thing that covers that hole, and just like a thing of wires. Those will terminate either here or here, and then there'll be like short patch cables there. But so this will be gone, but other than that, the rest of the wires will still be here. So not the best wiring job, but it works. So basically here, this is a super micro motherboard. It has 2 on onboard, and it has another NIC that has two. So you can see there, actually the three yellow cables are all, these are all actually connected together. So you can like disconnect these. You can disconnect up to two of them and still actually have connection going. And it can serve up to 3 gigabits per second. And I've actually tested it, getting close to that. But you have to have 3 different clients because each client would obviously max out their own speed. So that's pretty cool. It can't receive up to 3 gigabits per second though, just because of the way the FreeBSD driver works with an unmanaged switch. It's just impossible because, yeah, these are cheap switches. But it can actually serve 3, which is pretty awesome. So I got 3 of those, and then the other one, that white cable right there, actually goes directly to here. So this is a just some non-server, non-super micro motherboard. And then I have a NIC, an Intel NIC with 2 slots, and one of them connects. This is a direct connection. They like kind of like internal networking, just 2 static IPs that connect to each other, and it's just that's where I do the NFS. I also do backups over that line. And then this has, with the other 2 NICs, those are basically these 2, and these are also these are actually in failover because one's on the Intel and one's on the onboard, and the onboard obviously would cause more CPU. It's a Realtek, so the Intel one's the main one, and the second one is the failover. So that's basically how that networking works for the most part. Still got to clean up the wires. I'm gonna get some better, like we got a better surge protector there, and these wires would all be gone eventually once I'm just kind of scared. I've never wired high voltage. I've always wired low voltage, so it'll be kind of scary dropping a actual high voltage wire down the wall, but gotta try it. Okay, so now this is the nZEDb program. Let me see if I can block out the light here. Let's see. There you go. It's gonna be all yellow because it's from my finger. All right. Well, that's news. That's nZEDb. Let's see if I can do it this way. Cool. All right. That's nZEDb. Basically, just it just shows what's on Usenet, and you can like it indexes it. It figures out if it's a movie based on stuff. Does a ton of stuff. So here's some movie it found. You can. I'm not trying to do this super high quality because obviously this actually isn't for the public. This is mostly for my family and some friends that have online that have requested. So you can see one of the benefits of running your own nZEDb thing is it doesn't get shut down. You get unlimited API calls and everything. It's not needed though. I mean, if you're just gonna run a media setup, I just recommend you get a free NAS box. Read my tutorial on my blog and do that. But this is just a cool way because I have a bunch of people who are using that tutorial and need a reliable Usenet file provider, or indexer. So you can see here one of the advantages of running nZEDb is it uses this pre-DB database, which basically looks online. Not exactly sure where it's getting the information, but it knows like hashed names, and then it will turn it back to what it originally was. So you can see here. It got this from PreDB. I don't know what it was originally named, but it's usually some weird hash, and then it'll be listed on PreDB, and it'll know how to decode that to what the actual name is, and then from there it can figure out, what kind of file it is, movie, TV show, whatever. I only index movies and TV shows, by the way. So that's that one. You can just see it kind of does all that. I mean, any Usenet indexer, if they're good, they're gonna have the same stuff. It's just if they do PreDB, then they could get more stuff, and it's just how fast they are and how many API calls you get. Obviously, this is free for me, so that's why I do it. And then here's it actually running, like the back end. You can see it's running. Is running in Tmux. This is just kind of a monitor thing. This is actually running all the scripts that pulls from Usenet. It just pulls the headers, and then it creates releases out of them because these movies are actually in gigantic files that it breaks up, and then it'll that are broken up on Usenet, and it'll put them back together. It'll figure that out, and then it'll try to figure out what it is and possibly rename it based on the PreDB database. So it's just doing its stuff, and it'll download like the images and stuff. So this constantly runs, and it's actually been pretty stable. This is all running on FreeBSD, on my FreeBSD web server over there. I don't know. This is just like pulling movie TV. This is actually the PreDB thing. It's connected to an IRC server where like some IRC bots are dropping the info in, and then it'll get it, and it will figure out what the renaming thing is. So this is just constantly running and pulling stuff there, sharing, pulls comments, but I haven't seen much use of that. You can see there's some errors here. This is caused by FreeBSD 10.1, there was some change and like some compatibility. It doesn't actually affect me, but I did file a bug and they're working on it, so that'll get fixed eventually. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do with the indexer, and Sab can just pull from here. Well, Sickbeard and Couch Potato can search through here, and I'll show some TV shows. They can basically search through here and find their stuff, and it's extremely fast because, you know, it's running on my server. I know how to tune stuff well, so it's running quickly. It's even for like my family back home, it's really fast because there's just a low load because it's just basically a couple family members and a couple friends online. So they just Sickbeard and Couch Potato can find stuff here, and then it will send it to Sab, and Sab downloads it. So let's see. Here's an example of a TV show. A Wife, I've never heard of this. And then you could, if you like the info, like this is something that was, it'll download this from the thing. This is like kind of shows some information about the video file usually. And then, yeah, this was a pre-DB thing too. So the good thing about pre-DBs is they're almost never pulled down off Usenet. If it's not pre-DB'd and it's like a popular movie, it'll almost always get pulled down off Usenet quickly. So, and then you can see here similar, so it shows other things that show. I think there's a way to show like seasons, but I honestly don't know because I do all this stuff automated through Sickbeard. This is just kind of a cool way to look at. Oh, here all episodes. So yeah, you can see all the episodes. Here's episode 12, episode 11. These are all the releases for those episodes. Different people have posted, and you can see the size and figure it out. So yeah, and nZEDb is just so much better than newsnav. It does a bunch of things, has a bunch of smarts built into it. It can figure out if stuff's fake based on if it has an exe filed in there. It can know, it can check if something's password protected, and it just does all that stuff for you. So it's pretty awesome. This is such a reliable and good system. So I just want to show that, and that's all running on my FreeBSD web server. So hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it went kind of long. It's been a while, so I just want to show what I've been working on. So see you guys later.